This is why we really need to get our nesting boxes, you can see them right over there, into this side of the coop. So thankfully, even though I'm a procrastinator, due to circumstances, this project finally got done. So that's exciting for that to be done, at least for a temporary basis. We'll need to do some additional improvements for long term, but I'm happy about it for today. So with Jane and her puppies occupying the side of the chicken coop that we usually let the chickens lay their eggs in, because that's where the nesting boxes are, we are needing to find an alternative spot, because Justin feels that we probably should let Jane and her puppies be by themselves without the chickens coming and interrupting. And I agree. So this is kind of forcing my hand to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but actually started making a video about a few weeks ago. What that particular project is taking those, well, one of those nesting boxes that we bought like a year ago and putting it inside this side of the coop. Yes, we have been introduced to the baby shark craze for the past 3 weeks. Mr. Sir has been singing, actually it's 4 weeks almost, has been singing Baby Shark. Now, I did learn that song in junior high or high school whenever I was in youth group, but Justin and I were not aware that it has created such a sensation on YouTube. But my parents introduced Malachi to it, so we have been enjoying that obsession. But actually it's been a good thing. And it's been kind of fun to watch him enjoy it so much. Anyway, back to the point of today's video. Now, we do have a couple of nesting boxes up in the top, and the chickens in the past have laid in both of those. However, because we have so many chickens and they roost up there at night, those boxes are full of chicken poo. Now, on this side of the coop, we do have these nesting boxes that we got from our neighbor, and we just set it up on the counter here. Now, these old nesting areas, the chickens would sometimes lay in it, but most of the time they would just go underneath and lay clutches. And then, of course, the Texas rat snakes would come and get most of those eggs. The chickens do still lay over in this area sometimes. Rarely do they use these nesting boxes, but they do sometimes wallow out a little nest and put eggs over there, and I found 2 of those yesterday. But we've really been enjoying this nesting box, but unfortunately, not all the chickens are laying in here. We need something for the other side of the chicken coop, especially on the occasions where the chickens have to stay in the coop for a little while during the day. Like, for example, if we're gone, or if we have some sort of morning chore we have to take care of, and they're in there longer term. Now, I did put some hay in this little, well, it's a molasses tub that my parents cut a little hole out of. Oh, and I see an egg there. Not sure where that got laid. I guess it could have been laid in that box and then fallen and rolled. That seems a ways to roll. So I put hay in that one, hoping they'd start nesting below. But Malachi! Okay, now I know where it came from. Somebody is digging in the bucket of eggs and just threw an egg at the coop. You do not egg the coop, dude. That's a no-no. Ornery boy. Anyway, but when we've tried to use the red molasses tub in the past, they might lay there for a few days, but then they decide, no, we really don't want to do that. So, as you can see, we try to give our chickens many options to nest. However, we're trying to optimize where we put the nesting boxes. for the cleanest eggs so we don't have this kind of situation. Now, yes, these can be cleaned up, but I mean, that's a lot of poo to have to clean. Plus, we like to, in heavy production times, we like to be able to let the eggs sit in ambient temperature. Check out our video on the egg skelter that we use in high production times to store the eggs on the counter and have a first in, first out rotation. If we're going to have them out on the counter, we don't want them covered with poop because it's best for them to be clean and not to have gotten wet in the past. So the trick with putting a nesting box on this side is, I don't know if you can tell, but our chicken coop is leaning and it's termite infested and it'll probably fall down in a couple of years. Maybe not even that long because of how badly it is now leaning. But we're going to use it until we can't use it anymore. And because of that, we don't want to mount something so heavy onto the supports that are in here, because our concern is that it'll make it fall faster. So our plan is to take one of those nesting boxes and put them on a board on probably some cinder blocks. Now that may not get the nesting box as high as off the ground as we would prefer, but I think it will be enough. And since we have the other nesting box blocking off the window where these two sides are completely segregated now, I think we will probably put the nesting box here where the chickens are and where that feeder is, because it'll be relatively out of the way and it's fairly level. And the key thing is it's not directly underneath where they roost, because anything under where they roost gets just covered. That's the story behind figuring out ways to no longer deal with nasty eggs like this and to optimize the storage conditions for the eggs. To start off, I need to close off the flaps that are in the back, because the inside portions of these nesting boxes are angled. And the reason for that is these were mounted up high in a chicken shed, egg shed for one of the chicken companies, and right now it's not coming to my mind which chicken company these were in a essentially manufacturing plant for. So they would mount these up, and then that angle allowed the eggs to roll from the front of the nesting box to the back, and then there'd be a conveyor belt between two of these. So in essence, these two nesting boxes would be back to back, so they'd only be about a foot or two apart, I guess, instead of the 6 foot that we have it apart right now. And then as the chickens laid the eggs would roll from the front to the conveyor belt, front to the conveyor belt. So it was a continuous process. Nobody had to come and hand pick the eggs, and it just made it a very streamlined operation. You can also see how that would put a lot of stress on the chickens to mass produce a lot of eggs. But on the homestead, these can still be useful, but we don't have a conveyor belt. We will be going to pick up the eggs, so we just need to seal off these back flaps on the nesting boxes so that our eggs do not roll out. So let me get to that. And I'm going to use the flame duct tape that we have. Not that we'll really be able to see much of it, but it'll make me smile. Ha ha ha. And I'll come back to y'all after I get that done. I realized I was doing it the hard way to try to put the tape on while it was on its side, so I flipped it over to make it a little bit easier for me to do by myself. So Malachi helped me put some stickers on the nesting boxes. So this is our fun, ta-da! So the flaps are down. It's not perfect, but all we need is for it to work, right, sir? I'm probably going to pull out the mats that are inside, check them really good. Here is the nesting box. Let me step back so you can get a better view of it. Obviously, it is not level.
But I think I'm going to have a hard time leveling it out with just me. We'll see. So with Malachi's help, he did help, y'all. We got the project done. Now, I realize it's not perfect, but I needed something quick because when I went into Jane's side to get some hay to put in the nesting boxes, that hen snuck in, and thankfully Justin was watching from the house. He's like, Simmer, one of them got in. So after I got the hay situated in these nesting boxes, I brought the chicken over. Of course, she pecked at me when I got her out. And apparently the one I put her in was not good enough, because I put her in the one where that little golf ball is. She decided to hop over to the next one. But that's okay. As long as they make this their own, I'm good with that. Now, as you hopefully saw in the earlier videos that were at the beginning of this, the nesting box is over on that side because the chickens roost here and it gets all kinds of poopy under. So there's no roosting areas over there except for that one little corner branch, but they don't really get on that all that much. And it's just over one corner of the nesting area. So I think this is going to work. Those drawers are not ideal for it to sit on, but again, I just need something quick, and I didn't want to use the cinder blocks we brought back from Justin's hometown because those are really good quality, and we may eventually just buy some cheaper cinder blocks to put over there. But I'm going to go ahead and get out, stop talking so that the chickens can get in here and lay some eggs. So we will see y'all next time. And so I also wanted to show y'all our pear trees have decided to start blooming. And I think this has happened since the freeze earlier in the week. So that's awesome. Hopefully we won't have another really hard freeze. Otherwise we may not have all that many pears this year. But we shall see. Y'all have a blessed day and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. Push the thumbs up to like the video. Also hit that subscribe button, also the bell, so that you can get notifications when our videos come out.
Check us out on our social media pages too. The links are below. Bye, y'all.
Bye.